Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zekko football channel. Arsenal are on fire. They are on a 5-game winning streak in the Premier League, and in those 5 matches, they've scored 20 plus goals. They really have turned a corner. So what's changed? Today we dive into the tactical tweaks that Mikel Arteta has made to bring back the Gunners' firing form. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, you like the video, and you turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything coming up. But now, let's get into it. Arsenal really do seem to have turned a corner. In the last 5 matches, they've actually scored over a third of their entire goals this season. And in fact, they've actually got the best goal difference of any side in the Premier League. That's better than Man City, that's better than Liverpool. They're doing a phenomenal job. They've scored over 20 goals in the last 5 games and only conceded 2. Clearly, they're doing something right. And in particular, I think it's about really influencing or giving the influence to one of their players or one of their best players from last season. I'm talking about Martin Odegaard in this point. Recently, or towards the start of the campaign, I thought he was somewhat lackluster. Now, he was never really going to hit the heights that he did last season, but I thought he was underperforming. And really, Mikel Arteta's new changes and tactical tweaks have allowed him to express himself that little bit more and almost remove the shackles away from him so that he can progress further forwards with his attacking game, and it's really starting to pay off dividends. Let me try and explain. I made a video a while back at the start of the season explaining how I thought that Martin Odegaard was not having the influence that he had last season, and it really is starting to be felt in this Arsenal side. This is a diagram that dictates his difference in touches per 90 from last season to this season. And when we look at it, there are some notable differences. First of all is this box right here. He's taking less touches in front of the penalty area. Now, this is typically a time when he would respond to cutbacks. It's typically a time when he would shoot from outside of the box when given the opportunity. It's normally a chance for him to play in a pass through into the box, but he's not doing it. He is actually averaging just a lot fewer touches per 90, and in comparison to that, he's gaining more touches out on this right hand side. Now, it's fine for him to drift there every now and again, but as you can see, that's quite a big swing. And what that's also doing is meaning that he's actually overlapping with where Bukayo Saka is. Now, one of the perfect ways that Arsenal used to go forward was that Martin Odegaard would occupy this inside right channel. What it would normally do is allow Bukayo Saka to isolate the opposition left back, and it gave him a chance to either go left or right towards the byline or cut inside. Instead, Martin Odegaard is almost stepping on Bukayo Saka's feet, and what's more is that he's actually dropping a little bit deeper to go and receive and pick up the ball. Now, this is down to a number of different things, but one thing that is meaning is that Martin Odegaard is not getting on the ball further up the pitch, and he's not dictating the game from a more attacking area. This is inevitably going to have a big consequence and a big influence on the way that Arsenal go forward and create attacks. However, Mikel Arteta has made a change. He's tactically altered the way that Arsenal set up, and it's had a direct impact on the way that Martin Odegaard goes forward, not only in the way that he creates attacks, but also in the way that he goes forwards with the rest of his team. Martin Odegaard has actually got 11 goals and assists in the entirety of this season, but he's actually gained 4 of these in the last 5 matches. And he's also got 12 big chances created this season, 5 of those in the last 5 games. And finally, he's averaging 2.9 key passes per 90. Well, actually, he's now averaging 4 key passes per 90 in the last 5 matches. So Martin Odegaard's stats are going through the roof. He's improving like no other, and this is down to the way that Mikel Arteta has changed and the way that he's altered the setup of this Arsenal group. So let's dive into what he's changed. First of all, we need to talk about the left back role, because this is one of the most pivotal positions of an Arsenal setup. We know that Zinchenko would normally invert and go into midfield, partner the holding midfielder, and then create a box formation, allowing the 2 centre attacking mids, or the left attacking mid and the right attacking mid, to then go forwards. However, most recently, either because of teams understanding the way that Zinchenko plays, or Zinchenko being injured, Kiwior has now had to step in. We don't have the presence of Tomiyasu, and obviously Jurrien Timber is injured, so Kiwior needs to play. However, Kiwior is not exactly the greatest at being inverted. He doesn't like it. He's not the greatest player on the ball, and he struggles to really turn and transition the ball forwards with Declan Rice. And Declan Rice can't do it all himself. I'm not saying that it's Declan Rice's fault that Martin Odegaard isn't necessarily able to go forwards, but it's definitely part of the problem. Declan Rice isn't able to progress the ball himself as the sole central defensive midfielder, and that puts too much onus on him. He's able to be marked a little bit too easily, so he needs a little bit of help. He needs that box formation to be able to allow Arsenal to progress the ball further up the pitch down the wide areas. And then you've got this problem. Granit Xhaka, we're going to continue to go back to this, but Granit Xhaka was one of the most influential players in this Arsenal side, and losing him, it has been catastrophic in my view. They've got Kai Havertz in this left attacking midfield 8 role, and to be quite frank, he's not doing anything that Granit Xhaka used to. Instead, I think the tactic is to get Havertz up with Trossard and either swap positions with him occasionally, but make sure that he's in the box or in and around the attacking penalty area to try and get the most out of his not only goal scoring ability, but his frame, to be able to utilise his power, utilise his height, and get that more physical, dominating spirit into this Arsenal setup. Now what this does is it pushes Kai Havertz forwards a little bit too much, and it means that Declan Rice is almost left on an island without Martin Odegaard dropping deeper. If you don't have Kiwior invert, Rice needs some help. And that means that Martin Odegaard, for the first part of this season, has been vacating his forward role in favour of helping out Declan Rice to be able to progress the ball forwards. Now, normally this isn't too much of an issue, but as we saw on that diagram that I showed you, Martin Odegaard has been picking up the ball deeper in the pitch, deeper into Arsenal's half, and that's seriously hurting the way he transitions the ball forward. Essentially, Arsenal are asking too much of him, and they're asking questions of him that he's not necessarily equipped to deal with all by himself. So, a change needs to be made, and a change is exactly what happens. Martin Odegaard needs to be further forwards, but Declan Rice needs to be able to progress the ball, and Kai Havertz also needs to be able to go forwards. So what's the option? The option is right here in Ben White. In Ben White, that he is able to invert, go into midfield. He did it for Brighton when he was there. He did it for a number of occasions, and it allowed him not only to play as a defender, but also as a centre midfielder. He's good with progressing the ball, essentially better than Kiwior, and it also offers Arsenal a different dimension. Kiwior is a more structurally sound, a bit better at, I'd argue, defending those main 1v1 situations, and I think he's a bit taller and stronger than Ben White, so it makes sense that he would be the one to invert. Now what this allows is for Declan Rice to have a partner to be able to go forwards, but it also maintains Arsenal's 3 at the back formation, and this allows two things. It allows Kiwior to be in a more natural and comfortable position, which still allows him to go down the flanks when he needs to, when there is enough cover, but it also makes sure that Arsenal are able to progress the ball forwards a lot faster. Pace in the ball means that they're able to get it through to their wide men, arguably the most dangerous players for them on the pitch, and then get into those attacking phases of play a lot faster. It splits Arsenal once more into 5 defenders and 5 attackers. Then you've got Martin Odegaard able to join the front 5, and you've got Kiwior able to be part of the defensive 5, traversing the ball through and up the pitch. Not only does it get more out of Kai Havertz to be able to go forwards, but Leandro Trossard is now able to swap with him. Trossard and Havertz are both comfortable in playing in those 8 roles, and Havertz in particular is used to playing as a striker. So this rotation and dynamism here between the two has really started to break teams down. Couple that with Martin Odegaard now being let loose and being able to pick up pockets of space, unshackled, unburdened. He is now able to find those passes into Bukayo Saka, very much like the one that he gave Saka for Saka's goal against Burnley. Martinelli is doing everything that he has done previously, but now he's got a bit more rotation around him, which not only helps him and gravitates space away from him, but it also makes sure that he is able to work with the rest of his team to try and isolate defenders. This tweak to allow Ben White to come into midfield has really rebalanced Arsenal in a way and allowed them to dictate play once more, gaining that balance of 5 defenders and 5 attackers, but also making sure their key man, their main creative outlet in Martin Odegaard, is unburdened. And then we've seen the goals flow. I think it's a great tactical tweak. It's one that allows for flexibility. I can see a Urian Timber coming into this position from the right hand side. I can see a possibility where Zinchenko can invert and the likes of White can invert, and then you might start to see a flexibility. Then you might start to see some variation. When Zinchenko wants to invert, White stays. When White wants to invert, Zinchenko stays. There are a number of possibilities with the ability to have a split down the sides, and it makes sure that Arsenal remain unpredictable, and it makes it difficult for teams to prepare against them. A brilliant tactical tweak that has really transformed Arsenal and unlocked them going forwards. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.